Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid South Wrestling Review Series for August 25th, 1984. We are fast moving through the month of August. Buddy Landel calls out Rickhouse Brown. Ernie Ladd basically says he knew Brown from the Carolina area. Buddy Landel is extremely upset and dissatisfied with the fact that he was embarrassed by Brickhouse Brown. Basically wants a rematch for getting defeated by him last week. Jim Cornette brings out the Midnight Express, the original Midnight Express, in this case Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey, unlike the Khrushchev bunch last episode. And so Norvell Austin and Coco Ware are here. They have fought before. Dennis Condrey is on the receiving end of some arm ringers and the like. Meanwhile, the former champions kind of taking exception to things, and we see some hip tosses by Coco Ware, Bobby Eaton on the receiving end of those. Tag off and continued double teaming by the Pretty Young Things until Condrey manages a back elbow cut off. Hercules, by the way, sitting on the floor with Jim Cornette, making sure that Cornette is secure. Meanwhile, Hacksaw Duggan runs down, makes issues for Hercules. It goes after Jim Cornette. Duggan had been laid out by Cornette. The Pretty Young Things match is brought to a close pretty aggressively here. We go with no conclusion, by the way. We go to Hercules Hernandez, who is busted wide open by Duggan in the previous segment. Hernandez not happy with that. The bleeding through the tape on his forehead. Obviously, Hercules and Duggan going to have more of an involvement. Hercules, though, is going to end up facing Coco Ware. He wants Ware because Ware is also part of that process of him getting busted open. And so Coco Ware comes in and kind of continues things there. The two men are brawling. Oddly enough, Coco Ware coming back on Hercules a little bit. Irish whip by Coco. Coco tries and gets a drop kick under the chin of Hercules. Hercules not happy with this. Cuts Coco off and nails him pretty hard. Coco fighting back from underneath for the next several minutes. Not a big surprise there, but a headbutt by Coco rocks Hercules. Hercules does a phenomenal job of selling. Also gets busted wide open again, as he were in the previous segment. We see the elbow drop by Hercules. This is probably the first time that I assume that his Hercules' finish will be challenged in a more, I guess, aggressive, assertive sort of way. Anyway, hard shots by Coco. Coco sends Hercules into the buckle. Hercules, though, with the backdrop, followed by some ride time with some back chin locks and the like, really basic stuff here. Then we see Coco off the ropes, hits the shoulder tackle on Hercules. Hercules kind of mistimes things, but manages to dive toward the middle rope almost with a modified stun gun-like maneuver. Hercules chokes out Coco and gets the victory. Dr. Death issues the open tough guy challenge. He issues it to anybody, basically says he's tougher than anybody in Mid-South, anybody anywhere, actually, is basically the vibe that he puts forward. And ultimately, he wants to face anyone, anytime, anywhere. Hans Schroeder and Sonny King. We haven't seen King in a couple of weeks. King, though, is back in the saddle again, no pun intended. Manages to get this match with Schroeder. King is a babyface that people like for the most part. Schroeder tries to get a few brawling shots in, doesn't get what he wants on it. Short knee by King. King manages to snap him over with kind of snap mares and the like. They go to the floor. Schroeder tries to run away. Obviously, that never goes well. Brawling and the like by King. King manages the back body drop over the shoulder there. And then we see big body slams in the middle of the ring. Um, Schroeder gets gets caught up and gets eliminated. Nature Boy Buddy Landell complains about having to face Brickhouse Brown again, but wants to avenge himself. He is seconded by Ernie Ladd. Ladd wears a nice sparkling jacket to denote that he is still a wrestler. That will play out in the months to come as well. Brickhouse Brown uses speed to avert Buddy Landell. Ladd trying to call shots from the outside. Big arm drags. And Landell goes over, gets some advice from Ladd. And certainly Ladd is basically... It's hinted that he knows more about... I guess what Brickhouse would be about because he's black. I mean, it's never said, but that's the inferences that are made both in commentary and the way in which Ladd carries himself. Anyway, we see arm bars and arm ringers and the like, and obviously can't get away with those racial undertones today. Big body slam by Brown. Brown manages to have Buddy on his back, so to speak, and we see the passing of some weaponry into Buddy Landell. Back elbow by Landell. Brown up and around, kind of looks like he's going to take over, but Ladd trips him from the outside. Brown drop kicks Ladd, and Ladd finally goes into the ring. They double team Brickhouse Brown. I guess the idea, although Ladd takes a bump over the top rope backwards, I guess the idea is to make Brickhouse Brown a major African American star in the area. At least that's what I'm thinking, although I don't know that for sure. Anyway, Brown walks away with the victory there. Night Out with the Fantastics. Video piece is here. And then, speaking of the Fantastics, they are in the next matchup against Cruz and Barber. Again, the Fantastics don't really have, a lot of focus in their storylines or anything like that. That does change over the next couple months a little bit. Anyway, but enhancement talent work it is for them today. Obviously, Rogers and Fulton are a good tag team. A little bit too much like the Midnight Express, and I think, or the Midnight and the Rock and Roll Express, and I think that's why they may not have caught on clearly as well as one would hope. Fulton with arm drags gets things going. Double team and double drop kick, much like the Rock and Roll Express, and then again with the arm drags by Rogers. Big back body drop by Fulton. Fulton comes up and is right in the face of his adversary. Tag off. Rogers back in control. And then we see the Fantastics successful in their pursuit, and they get a victory here. Closer look at Magnum TA, basically a music video with him riding a motorcycle. And then we go to the, I guess you'd say, last match of the day, as Big Ernie Ladd and Crusher Khrushchev. Ladd and Khrushchev against McCord and Stroud. Maybe trying to give Khrushchev a bit of a rub from teaming with Ladd, since Ladd was a major guy in the area. Stroud has been around before. McCord later becoming Austin Idol. Khrushchev been around for several months now, if not over a year, and gets a few hard shots. Ladd comes in. McCord gets one hand slammed, picked up pretty easy by Ladd. Ladd dominant is his 6'8", 9" frame would be. Irish whip, and Ladd with a boot to the Khrushchev, tags back in, boot to the midsection. Ladd basically raises the knee, does the least bit possible. Of course, Ladd also holding a Pretty prominent backstage role in Mid-South at the time. Irish whip and a clothesline by Khrushchev. Khrushchev kind of driving his man into the canvas. We kind of see a 1-2 and a 3 count there, and the heels are victorious. Jim Cornette wants revenge for the splitting open of the head of Hercules, calls out Koko Ware, wants a match next week, wants some sort of revenge, wants some sort of vengeance. Meanwhile, Hercules smacking himself in the head through the bandages, almost as if to say, "Come on, is that all you've got?" And Koko Ware basically says he will accept a challenge for future weeks as we close the month of August here in Mid South in 1984. We'll be back with more right after this.